Shalom, everybody. I want to give you a perspective on some of the perks of being the parent of a person with autism. I need to start by saying it's a challenge. Sometimes I feel broken and crushed. Sometimes I watch the struggles that my son Jacob goes through, and it can knock me for a loop. And of course, it's a challenge to manage the social constraints and the expenses and all, but I don't want to focus on that for the moment. Those are real, and we need a community that welcomes us and sees us for who we are and steps into that space. But others will give that talk, I hope. What I want to focus on for a minute is the perks. And I don't just mean getting the vaccine early because I'm a caretaker. I mean that what I have learned from my son Jacob is resilience. Jacob can't afford to be knocked down for good. Jacob has to get back up and get back into the fight, and he's taught me to do that too. So I am, I believe, a much more resilient person than I ever would have been had it not been for my commitment to him and my love of him and my being inspired by him. Jacob has taught me what my real priorities and values have to be, and he's forced me to redefine my life to fit them. You know, we all talk about we just want our kids to be happy, we don't care about money, but blah, blah, blah. It doesn't ring true because every time your kid has a choice, we push them in a certain direction. Ego, career, aspirations, wealth, security, prestige, all those things. But when you have a child who has to measure differently, then you have to come face to face with your own bias, the ways that you've sold out your core values too. And it forces you constantly to have to struggle to realign what matters most with what you claim matters most. So having a son on the autistic spectrum means that I have to love him for who he is and accept his triumphs as they are. And that makes me a better person. It also teaches me the value of loyalty in a deeper way. I grew up very sensitive to the opinions of others. I want people to approve. I want them to smile. I want them to think well of us. And having a child who can't always conform to social expectations has pushed me to have to say, I can't define myself by those social expectations either. And isn't that a better world for all of us? Don't we all want to live in a world where we're free to be ourselves and we're able to expect people to accommodate who we are as we are? And then the last thing I want to say in perks of living with someone with autism, I get the best hugs of any dad on the planet. My 28-year-old son doesn't lie. He tells the truth. He says what he thinks. And he's not scheming or plotting because, again, it's life or death here. He's got to put everything on the table. And so I get the best hugs on the planet. I get the most sincere criticism sometimes and the most resilient loyalty. And I've learned, I think, to be more loving and more loyal because I'm the father of someone with autism. Jacob is not just my son, he's in many ways my Rebbe. And if we can open ourselves to the diversity of people's abilities and the many ways those are packaged and the many ways they appear in our lives, if we can welcome all of that into our lives, well, then maybe there's room for us to be welcomed too. And we also can find a space to be able to shine authentically as we are. Shalom.